I'm going to look at this again, like I did number one, if you did number one, and I'm going to say, is it a rigid motion? That size and shape is definitely the same. So I'm going to say, yes, it's a rigid motion because size and shape are the same. All right. Now, should I abbreviate that RM? Not unless it says rigid motion someplace there. So I'm sure the person is going to believe it. I probably should not do that because then one of you is going to do it on a test and say that I did it and that's where you got it from. All right. So I'm not going to abbreviate rigid motion. There is no accepted abbreviation for rigid motion. All right. So it's a rigid motion because the size and shape doesn't stay, or stays the same. Sorry, it doesn't change, I was going to say. Now, what happens here? So KSV. So if I'm highlighting these, just to double check, K ends up at P, S ends up at W, and M ends up at, or V ends up at M, sorry. Now, I also am going to label, so it would map KSV. That means this is the pre-image onto the image. I want to make sure I know which one starts and which one ends so that I don't end up messing this thing up in that situation. So if I zoom in at this thing and take a look, I'm going to do the yellow points. Because again, I think this is a translation. All right, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. And I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Now, if I just write down, honestly, if I write down left 5, down 4, that should be enough. I probably should write the word translation. All right. I do not need to write down a symbolic notation because there's lots of ways to mess this up. All right. But if you feel that you need to, it would be that right there. Okay. But again, I do not suggest doing that unless you absolutely need to, because it's real easy to go there and write down 5, 4. All right. Or it's real easy to go there and write them backwards. Okay. I think, no, there's no second part to this. All right. So we've got that right there. So that's the end of that one. Hopefully it's going okay.